get older. So when you get to age now, and the same thing's happening to you, that's when you remember, oh man, when I was young, I used to make fun of the old people. Now it's happening to me. Now you feel bad. So don't be in that predicament. Just knowing right here, right now, that even though you're younger, do right by the elder. You know, just do it because you want that same respect. You know, and you want that same respect now. You want that same respect years from now when you get older.
Because your parents are older than you, and honor thy father and thy mother, and like people in their age group, you gotta respect them too. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes you see a lot of the kids are disrespectful to their parents, and you look at the obituaries like, okay, born 1991, died 2011, you know? Like, you know? Some people, some kids disrespect and even hit their parents too.
Right.
Like, looking at obituaries, and a lot of young people out there disrespectful to their parents, disrespectful to authority. Like, that disrespect goes straight up to the Most High. Okay, go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, well, I link up to Nabia, First Timothy. Huh?
I have my own link up.
Link up to what Nabia was saying.
Oh, okay.
The scripture, 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 17. Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. So whenever the Most High say something,
First
you know,
Timothy.
What was that verse again,
1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 17. What we should understand is there's more than 10 commandments. Okay? There's more than 10 commandments. Whenever the Most High says something, it is a commandment. So when he says, let the elders that rule be counted worthy of double honor, that's the same as telling us to honor them. And honor them doubly. What does it mean double? It's like, when I think of doubly, it's like going beyond. To make sure that, you don't do anything to offend them. You know what I'm saying? You don't do anything to try to shut them up or anything like that. That has eldership. What is the eldership? Someone who is what? Mature in the word of the Most High. We love to think that it's somebody who is 70 years old. We love to think it's 60 years old. We love to think that we understand that elders are out there, they're like that. But just like Rabia said, a lot of them don't act like that. But when it's talking about elders of rulership and stuff like that, it's talking about one who is mature. Why is the mature in the Most High? Because the man who studies the word of the Most High, who is mature in the word of the Most High, is operating in the image and likeness of the Most High. So I think that we need to really look at that. Well, wait a minute, I can't say this to this guy, because if I say this to this guy, and this guy is following the Most High, and being a man is being linked to the Most High, and being mature in His word and stuff like that, then who am I going to try to cut down this elder? And it's always somebody who is mature. So that's why age really cannot apply. It is whoever is reading the word of the Most High, and whoever is growing.
Just not to take too much more time, but I just want to read this to go along with the brother just said. This is Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha as well. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 4. I'm going to read verse 8 and also verse 9. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 4 verses 8 and 9. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 4 verse 8. For honorable age is not that which standeth in length of time, nor that which is measured by number of years. Verse 9. But wisdom is the gray hair unto men, and an unspotted life is old age. Just go along with the brother was saying. So that's what makes somebody old or elder.
Yeah, like a lot of times, sometimes you say in here, like in the truth, like yeah, he's been in the truth for like 20 years now. He's humbling, he's out there, and others coming up. And he's still sticking to the truth. He not been teaching like how we used to, whatever, give them respect too. Okay. Verse. Oh, you frozen?
Teaching how we used to? Really?
No, maybe he's not, maybe he's a lot older, maybe he's going through certain, things right now, but he's letting the younger ones come up to teach and kind of, instructing them to come up there and teach,
Okay.
Verse 7, rejoice not over thy greatest enemy being dead, but remember that we die all. So, a lot of, like certain of our enemies, Edomites and so on and so forth, because there's other Edomites coming over there to replace them anyway. And that we're all gonna die anyway. I mean, that we face that same death also.
I mean, the real rejoicing comes in the kingdom when we can't die then, right?
I mean, like, especially now, because the greatest enemy, would be like the other nation. But when it comes to the enemies within our nation, we should pray for them, because these are the same people that we're striving to live in the kingdom with.
Right.
Our people. Or with the other nation now. Like say read about Nebuchadnezzar or what's that guy in Esther? Haman? Without we all subject to the same debt too.
Choice not having some revenge you on her.
Go ahead. Sabbath.
Now I was just thinking about the prophecy about us rejoicing when Babylon's finally fallen. How the Lord have avenged you on her. Just considering, like we said, both enemies. He had enemies of the other nations, Esau being at the top, and enemies amongst your own brothers and sisters. It's like almost like when the victory is won, it's still a sad thing that any man of any nation would choose to go against God. To where it's like you want to be extra happy to see someone's demise. You know what I mean? But it's almost like a pity you may feel when they do it to themselves because they're going against God in so many ways. Whether it be of our people or the nations constantly do. Which in the kingdom, outside of Esau, other nations will now begin to learn, okay, here's what it means to, follow the Most High, and here's a chance that you have now, to do right, and to see us do right, and to learn by our example. But I just wanted to read this in Romans to go with this. Romans chapter 12. As far as how to deal with enemies, how to still have control, and not to get, overly worked up when trying to exact your own vengeance against them, because I always tell people the Most High can exact vengeance in ways we can never imagine, and covering bases in ways we can never see when it comes to a person's spirit. We may know how a person may have wronged us, but the Most High can correct all men and women based on everything that they've done we couldn't see, everything that they thought that we couldn't see. Romans 12:19, it says, verse 20. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For doing so shall heap coals of fire on his head. That's a quote from Proverbs 25:21. But then verse 21 in Romans 12 says, be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Just want to read that to go along with what we're reading in verse 7.
What's that verse? 20 and...
Romans 12:20 and 21. And then the verse that Paul is quoting here is Proverbs 25 and 21.
Yeah, like I said before, the enemy among our nation, that's in our nation, we're striving to be living in the kingdom with them. They're gonna be there in the kingdom too. So it's like try to overcome that.
Just real quick. This is Psalms 58 and 10 to 11. Right now, I was saying, you know, it's two parts to it. You know, of course, you're gonna be happy that the Most High's will is being fulfilled and we get freedom and everything. I'm talking about in the terms of the other nations being taken down, but you know, you're gonna feel a certain level of sadness that they went against the Most High to have that happen to them. But this is Psalms 58 and 10. It says, "The righteous, who are righteous, Israel that keeps the laws of the Most High, shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance." Right? He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked. Who are the wicked? The so-called white race. So when the blood is being, when the nuclear war breaks out, and even to the time that we have them enslaved and we're violently beating them and blood is flying everywhere, and we're going to be literally washing our feet in their blood because we're going to be standing in rivers of their blood. That's how violent the brutal the beating is going to be. We're going to be rejoicing. Verse 11. "So that a man shall say, verily or truly, there is a reward for the righteous." So that's our reward. "Verily, he is a power that judgeth in the earth." So we're going to be happy to see that vengeance. Why? Because it's judgment. And one more. This is Psalms 149 and 5. 149 and 5 down to 9 in terms of rejoicing.
Sabbath classic.
Being happy.
149.
149 verse 5 to 9.
Gotcha.
The treatment of Kanas you became. Man, we're in a space over
And it says, I'll read it. Oh, wait.
These are one of the psalms that they read in church.
They probably do, but they probably just read right over it.
They do everything else.
Yeah, they start reading and they go, let's go back to Psalms 23.
Nah, worse than that, they read it anyway and just don't see what it's talking about. So I remember sitting in a church before, and like, so it was, I forgot what scripture it was, but a scripture that we read that we'll read out of camp, and there's so much fire to it, and it's bringing out all this deep stuff. They'll like just read over it, and it'll just be dead the way they read it, and you just be sitting there like you don't see that, how fiery that scripture is, and how that totally goes against your concept of what the Most High is. You sit in church thinking that, but they just read over the scripture. It's like nothing. Like, you paying attention, or you just kind of reading it? Alright, so this is Psalms 149 and 5. It says, "Let the saints, the Israelites that make it into the kingdom, rejoice in glory." So the glory is the kingdom. Let them rejoice. So it's sure you're going to be rejoicing. "Let them sing aloud upon their beds." You singing, you're rejoicing. "Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people." So so Israel is gonna be rejoicing to be punishing other nations and everything, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles, right? Meaning their rulers, the senators, the governors, the sheikhs, whatever you want to call them, with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. "This honor have all his saints, praise ye the Most High." And we're going to be rejoicing to be counted with that honor too.
Even upon our beds, right?
Even upon our beds.
Before going to sleep, right?
Huh?
Before going to sleep?
Before going to sleep. While you sleep, you're going to be thinking about it. Another scripture tell you that our minds are going to meditate terror, against the nations too. So
Yes.
Even when you're on your bed, you probably going to be falling asleep at night yet. So when I wake up, I think I'm just bust this Edomite's head. I'm going to crack the other one's arm. I'm going to use spiritual power. The scripture tell you, thy mind shall meditate evil.
Oh,
that's going to be part of the rejoicing process too.
Oh, happy day.
See? Happy days.
Can.
Because when you read Micah, they think about all kind of ways to destroy our people right now. Guns in our neighborhood, drugs in our neighborhood, abortion clinics